I have been putting off filming this video all day in anticipation of the bloody Giannis Antetokounmpo trade that everybody has been saying is gonna happen today. It's gonna happen any minute. The Bucks are contemplating between whether or not they want the Miami Heat pick or the Boston Celtics pick, and they've been trying to figure it out for the past 5 hours which one they prefer, and now apparently there's a mystery team getting involved that Giannis could get sent to, and overall, nothing's happened. Nothing has happened, so I've said, you know what, screw it. Whatever, I'm just going to get this video filmed right now. And if he gets traded during this video, I'm going to lose my mind because it is the one thing that I've been waiting for all day. The draft is tomorrow. Giannis is apparently supposed to be getting traded before the draft. And the draft is tomorrow, and he's still not been traded yet. I don't know what's going on. This video is not even about the Giannis trade. It's about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Let's talk about them instead. After winning a league-high 64 games last season, there was plenty of buzz that the OKC Thunder would become the first back-to-back champion since the 2018 Kevin Durant Golden State Warriors, and they would definitely be on their dynasty path. However, they ended up getting eliminated in 7 games to a young San Antonio Spurs team after a grueling series flooded and plagued by injuries to OKC. Can they get back to hoisting the Laurie O'Brien next season? This is what I think they need to do to get there. Hello everyone and welcome back to Step Back with Zach, and in today's video, what should the OKC Thunder do in this offseason in order to get back to winning the NBA championship just like they did in the 2024-2025 NBA season? Now, first of all, before I get into anything further, I don't think this video is going to be particularly that long, which is great for me. It means the editing process is going to go much faster. However, I honestly think that this OKC Thunder team should just do very little. So many people have been overreacting because of how the OKC Thunder went out last series, but you guys always forget that they went to Game 7, and it was a close Game 7 where they just lost to Victor Wembanyama, who is looked at by many people, including myself, as the best player in the NBA, with the best backcourt in the NBA of Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle. And meanwhile, that team was fully healthy. OKC was without 2 of its more important offensive pieces in J-Dub and AJ Mitchell, who are the 2 main offensive pieces, I should say, rather, outside of SGA. And yes, Chet Holmgren sucked in that series, but Chet was great against the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns. Yes, he absolutely shat his pants when it came to guarding Victor Wembanyama and just matching up against him, but you guys, stop overreacting. Now, yesterday, Aaron Wiggins was also traded to the Atlanta Hawks for an absolute steal from Atlanta, by the way. All the Hawks had to give up was 2 second-round picks for him, which is crazy. Aaron Wiggins is such a good role player in this league, and the fact that they got him for only 2 picks and second-rounders at that is absolutely incredible for them. The Atlanta Hawks just continue to make money moves. The OKC Thunder still have the 2-time back-to-back MVP in SGA until 2031. J-Dub and Chet Holmgren, 2 All-NBA caliber players, also until 2031. And they still have an elite supporting cast around them, with Isaiah Hartenstein still going to be there next season. AC, Alex Caruso, still going to be there for a while. Cason Wallace is still going to be there this upcoming season. Basically, the team is still the exact same, minus Aaron Wiggins and potentially others that we will get into very soon. They do need to go after some shooting. I think that is the main thing that they need to go after. Yes, Isaiah Joe's a shooter, but he sucks on defense. Any team can just target him. Jared McCann's really good, but again, he's a hole on the defensive side of the ball. So they do need to go after a shooting wing, I think, and maybe potentially another ball handler coming off the bench. And whatever happens with Isaiah Hartenstein's contract, maybe they do need to go after another big man as well. And yes, I know Thomas Sorber is still there. I know. That's why I said maybe. So the first thing we're going to talk about in terms of the offseason for the OKC Thunder is the NBA draft, which, like I said, is tomorrow. I'm super excited for that. And free agency. Now, the OKC Thunder have not made any trades yet to move up in this draft, which is something that has been rumored for a very long time. They do have picks 12 and 17, which they could use together to trade up in the draft. Do I think that's going to happen? I actually have no idea. I'd like to say so, but at the same time, I'm also crossing my fingers super hard that it doesn't, because the OKC Thunder are already OP enough as it is. They do not need a top 10 pick to go along with that. With the projections on who's going to get drafted to what team consistently changing, there is so many realms and different avenues that the OKC Thunder can choose to look at in this draft. Now, the thing is, if everybody comes back, outside of Aaron Wiggins, obviously, but if they don't trade Lou Dort, if they don't trade Isaiah Joe, or if the OKC Thunder decide to pick up everyone's team options, they are pretty much going to have a full roster, meaning that they will only probably be able to bring in one player, considering Aaron Wiggins was moved for no player. So I think maybe they do look to package both picks 12 and 17 to move up in the draft, or pick with pick 12 and then trade 17 for future assets, whatever. They also have the 7th pick in the 2nd round, but that's neither here nor there. Maybe they could get a Zuby Ejiofor in the 2nd round. I don't really know too much about the 2nd round draft prospects, but who knows? But like I said, there are many avenues that the OKC Thunder can look down. I do think that they need to go after more wings, especially depth with the wings, because they still have J-Dub, but who's going to replace J-Dub if he gets injured? What if that hamstring never recovers? They are going to need someone there who can step in to fill that role while J-Dub is recovering. Players that are mocked to go around pick 12 are guys like Yaxel Lenderborg, who keeps slipping, by the way, in projections, especially on ESPN. I've got no idea why. Kareem Lopez, maybe they go after. Native Ment as well, some really solid options. They could go after more big men-centered people like a Hans Steinbach or a Marez Johnson. I really hope they don't take Marez Johnson, because I want my Spurs to draft him. I don't think he's going to go to 20 though, which sucks. But who knows? Hans Steinbach is also an incredible get for them because he's a really good offensive rebounder. And the OKC Thunder need offensive rebounding. And then if you look at who they could pick for pick 17, maybe you go after a Bennett Sturts or a Cam Carr, Christian Anderson. These guys are all guards. Cam Carr can play some 3, I guess, but he is 6 for 5. But I really like Cam Carr. He's one of my favorite players in this draft. They could also go after a LeBaron Philon. I don't know if he's still going to be there at pick 17. Some people are projecting that he's going to go around pick 20, which is crazy. But I don't know. Like LeBaron Philon, I've seen picked as high as pick 10 and go as late as pick 21. So, like I said, these projections are getting shifted around all the damn time. I quite literally have no idea. And like I mentioned, if they do move up in the draft, I don't know if this will be a mistake or not, because there have been rumors that they are wanting to go after a Daimara out of Michigan, the 7'3" big man, primarily for the viewpoint of he is big enough to match up with Victor Wembanyama, which in theory is true. However, a Daimara is very slow at moving his feet, especially against a guy like Wemby. He's bigger than Wemby in terms of like size. He's heavier. He's got a longer standing reach. But Wemby is still going to cook him alive, let's be honest. There's no one on planet Earth that can slow down Wemby. And then if you bring in a Daimara and you re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein, you're going to run into the problem where you have too many bigs. Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein, a Daimara, Jalen Williams, not J-Dub, J-Will, and Thomas Sorba. That is 5 quality big men. And then you look at J-Will and think, okay, but he's short, he can play the 4. Cool. That's still 4 playable big men. I don't think that they go after that. Maybe they go after like a Michael Brown or a Kingston Flemings to come off the bench and provide some spark there, especially if the Thunder are going to want AJ Mitchell starting next season if they move off of Lou Dort. Who knows? Or the Thunder could, like I was talking about before with trading the picks, they could trade pick 12 to a team that I'm going to talk about in a little bit and stay at pick 17. I literally have no idea. There's so many possibilities and avenues that the Thunder can go down in this draft. And then in terms of free agency, the Thunder pretty much have everyone back that played an important part in their rotation last season. And because of this, they do have very little roster space. Like I mentioned, they did move off of Aaron Wiggins, so that does free up a spot. But again, they've got draft picks, so they're going to bring in players to fill those roles. Lou Dort is on a team option for this upcoming season. Do I see the Thunder re-signing him? Yeah, maybe. But are you going to be able to convince them to take a big pay cut to stay with this team? Again, maybe, perhaps. OKC loves him, especially SGA. Shea loves Lou Dort. He's his Canadian teammate as well. But if they can shed this Lou Dort contract, that's going to help them out massively, considering that they are nearing the second apron, which is a big reason as well as to why they traded Aaron Wiggins, but why they probably can't bring in any new people in free agency. Now, Lou Dort does have a team option for $18.2 million in the 2026-2027 NBA season. This means, the team option that is that the OKC Thunder can choose to pick up this option so that he will get his $18.2 million to play in the 26-27 season, or the Thunder can try and renegotiate the contract, meaning that they might be able to convince him to take on less money for more years for security reasons, or they can convince him, hey, we'll re-sign you, but we're going to trade you as well for a sign and trade deal. There's a lot of different things that the OKC Thunder can do with Lou Dort's contract, but ultimately, I think that Lou Dort needs to get off of this team. I'll talk about that more when I get to the trade aspect. Isaiah Hartenstein needs a new contract. Isaiah Hartenstein does have a team option of $28.5 million for this next season, which is a lot of damn money, considering you have Shea, Chet, and J-Dub all making max contract amount of money. Isaiah Hartenstein, do I think that this option is going to get picked up? I don't think the OKC Thunder have a choice, especially if Isaiah Hartenstein does want the bag, because he is so important to this team and for what they can do. He was a huge reason as to why they were able to win the championship 2 seasons ago. Isaiah Hartenstein's importance and impact for this team is immeasurable. He was able to really be physical with Wemby and force Victor Wembanyama to have some very confusing and struggling moments in their playoff series, but I do think that Hartenstein might want to go and look for a bag somewhere else, considering he got his championship. He doesn't really need, he probably won't feel the urge to go and sign less to win more, because he's already won. He doesn't need that. And teams are probably going to be throwing a lot of money at Isaiah Hartenstein, considering he's a really damn good big man. He's a great rebounder. He's a great passer for a big man as well. That little push floater shot that he loves to do is money every single time. He's an incredible screen setter. He's a great lob threat. He's a pretty solid defender as well. This is a lot that Isaiah Hartenstein does well, and if the Thunder are going to want to keep him around, they are probably going to need to pick up that $28.5 million team option. Otherwise, I think Isaiah Hartenstein is gone. And obviously, I just said it. The big three, SGA, J-Dub, and Chet Holmgren, are all here for the long haul until at least 2031. Shea does have a player option for $75 million in 2031, which he'd be stupid to not pick up. Alex Caruso is signed on until 2029. Cason Wallace, though, is going to be an interesting piece moving forward. Said he wants a bigger offensive role. He will not get that in OKC. He does have a team option for around $7.5 million, which I do think the Thunder are going to pick up. However, I do think next season we do see Cason Wallace in a new uniform. Well, not next season, next offseason rather. Cason Wallace, I think you only have one more year of him unless you can convince him that he will get a bigger offensive role. But with how much money those top 3 players are making, as well as Alex Caruso making $20 million, I believe, it might be difficult to keep him there. AJ Mitchell as well is on a very team-friendly contract. He's making only around $3.5 million because he was drafted in the 2nd round. But again, if you want to keep him around, I think, especially with how good he's become, you need to give him the money that he wants. And with him being close to the 2nd apron, I don't know how likely this is. But I do think AJ Mitchell's going to be here for at least the next 2 seasons. But with all of this, I really don't think that they will be signing anyone major in free agency. Now, Kenrich Williams as well, Kenny Hustle, K-Rich, whatever you want to call him, was a very important piece for the OKC Thunder. I'm not necessarily talking about what he did on the court. He was more of a locker room guy. Everybody on the team loved Kenrich Williams. He does have around a $7.5 million team option that they could look to pick up. I'm not sure if they're going to do that, unless they can convince him to sign for a veteran minimum, and that's a big drop in money. Do I think that K-Rich is going to get any more money elsewhere? No, I don't, so he probably will stay here, but I do think that they need to try and convince him to take the vet minimum. The main things that the OKC Thunder need to do in free agency, though, is figure out the Isaiah Hartenstein and Cason Wallace contract situation, especially the Isaiah Hartenstein one. Next, we move into trades, and trade talk is always so much fun. There are some pieces that I think that the OKC Thunder need to go after, or should go after. Like I was talking about before, Lou Dort, in my opinion, needs to go. He's not worth the amount of money that he will be making. He's a really good defensive player, but I do think he does have certain defensive limitations. He does really well in some parts. Like, he's a really good Jamal Murray defender. He's a really good defender against players who aren't necessarily good at scoring off of the ball. He's not necessarily that great against defending very athletic point guards like a Stephon Castle or a Dylan Harper, but he was really good at defending a guy like Jamal Murray. He is a very confusing defensive player. Last season, 2 seasons ago, he was all defensive first team. This past season, didn't even sniff an all defensive team. He is a very weird defensive player. Isaiah Joe is also someone that I think is going to get traded. Again, I can see him getting traded for an Aaron Wiggins type of move, where you just trade him to a random team for a couple second rounders. But both of these guys, especially Isaiah Joe, I don't see being on this roster next season. If they bring back Lou Dort, I will be shocked, because he just does not fit what this team needs. They don't need his defense. They have incredible defensive players everywhere. Someone that is very heavily being rumored to go here, and if he does go here, the Thunder will be my new championship favorites, is Trey Murphy III of the New Orleans Pelicans. Trey Murphy has been involved in trade discussions for the past couple of seasons. He's an incredible talent, and it is getting wasted in New Orleans. And maybe his good scoring numbers and efficiency are because he's playing in New Orleans, but from what we see of Trey Murphy, he would be an incredible get for any contending team, especially the OKC Thunder. Trey Murphy last season gave you 21.5 points per game, shooting 38% from 3 on just shy of 9 attempts per game. He's an incredible athlete. He's a very solid defensive piece, and he will give OKC the exact shooting touch and presence that they need in their starting five. A starting five of SGA, Trey Murphy, J-Dub, Chet Holmgren, and Isaiah Hartenstein is incredible. And considering that they still have Cason Wallace, Jared McCain, and others coming off of the bench, this could be really damn good. Now, in terms of a trade package the Thunder could send, I don't think that they would be willing to move off of any of their young guys that actually play for them, like a Jared McCain or a J-Dub. I don't think you trade J-Dub for Trey Murphy, by the way. But you could send Lou Dort, Isaiah Joe, picks 12 and 17, or pick 12 and pick 37, plus another first-round pick for Trey Murphy, or something along those lines, because I don't think that the Thunder have any players necessarily that they can give up. Maybe they try and trade Nikola Topic, but again, the Pelicans have Jeremiah Fairs, they have DeJounte Murray, so I don't think that they want a point guard. Maybe they do try and ask for Jared McCain, just someone that can be a off-the-bench creator, can play the off-guard position, just an offensive punch that the Pelicans need, and if that's what they ask for, I am giving that to them. Jared McCain, if they want you, sayonara, dude, you are gone. They could also go after a Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson was someone that was heavily rumored to go to the OKC Thunder after the Thunder won their championship in 2025. However, he ultimately ended up getting traded to the Denver Nuggets from the Brooklyn Nets, because again, the Thunder just sat on their hands, and I think that again, he would be a really good pickup for this OKC Thunder team. Although not on the same level talent-wise as Trey Murphy, he's a great three-point shooter, both off the catch and off movement. He's not as great of a defender as Trey Murphy is. Trey Murphy's not a great defender by any means, but Cam Johnson is still okay enough at that aspect. Now, the Thunder won't have to give up as much for him as they would for Trey Murphy, but they would still have to give up some pieces and some future capital as well. Denver might not want to keep Cameron Johnson. After completely flaming out in the first round of the playoffs against an injured Minnesota team, maybe the Nuggets are looking for a complete fire sale where everybody is tradable except Jokic. Again, maybe Denver wants to take on some expiring contracts for next season so that they can go into next offseason with a lot of money for free agency. Maybe they ask for a couple future first round picks for Cam Johnson. Who knows? But I think Cam Johnson is also someone that is very likely to get traded, or someone that could fit really well in this OKC Thunder team. Now, other than those two being the bigger moves that they could make, they could also go after a Max Strus from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Again, the Cavaliers completely flamed out. Max Strus was very strange in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Knicks. He played really well against Detroit, but against the Knicks, he just was not that great. But here's someone else that could fit this team identity really well, just being a psychotic defensive player while being an elite movement shooter and spot-up shooter. He is only 6'5" though. So you bring him in, he's still a great defensive player. He's a much better shooter than Lou Dort is, but he is only 6'5". I do think that they want to go after bigger wings, but Strus would fit this team really well. So that's really it it that I can see for trades. Like I said, I don't think the OKC Thunder need to do much to remain a championship contending threat for next season. They should not overreact, just like you guys should not overreact. You keep the core together, improve around the margins year by year, and if they do need to make a splash of a trade, they have the pieces to do so. A treasure trove of picks and future assets, good players that they can move. It's just really not something that the Thunder need to do right now. Maybe if they once again lose next playoffs against the Spurs or even in the second round, whoever they match up with there, then maybe you look at this core and say, okay, we need to trade either Chet or J-Dub. But for now, I think that they really just need to stay packed, make moves around the margins, and maybe trade for a Cam Johnson or a Trey Murphy. You guys, though, overreacted like crazy. And it was kind of insane. All these Chet Holmgren trade speculations, all these J-Dub trade speculations, bring Giannis to OKC. What are we doing? Dude, they won the championship the season prior. They were the best team in the NBA through an injury-riddled J-Dub season and AJ Mitchell season. There is no reason that this team should panic. Absolutely not. They lost in a close Game 7 against a basically fully healthy San Antonio Spurs team outside of De'Aaron Fox, who just sucked, and Dylan Harper, who was dealing with that leg thing, without J-Dub and AJ Mitchell. And this is coming from me, a notorious San Antonio Spurs fan. And I was so happy that the Spurs won. But I understand that there is a slight asterisk, however you say that word, on that series, considering the injuries. So chill. The Thunder don't need to do anything drastic. Relax. When we look at the realm of next season, I do have the OKC Thunder as my second favorite team to win the NBA championship next year, behind the San Antonio Spurs. The Thunder Stars being healthy will be the main thing, I think, that will swing this team. If they can stay fully healthy next season, I can absolutely see them winning the NBA championship in a dominating way. Because next season, they will still have everybody, like I've kept mentioning. J-Dub was injured all of last season pretty much. Chet Holmgren was injured pretty much all of the year before. The health of this OKC Thunder team has been such an issue, and it really hasn't mattered. Can you imagine what they're going to be able to do with the team that they have had the past 2 seasons while being healthy? Come on. What are we doing? So that will be all for me for this video about the OKC Thunder and their offseason and what I think they need to do, or rather the lack thereof. This team is going to be so good next season. They're going to be so good for many years to come. Them and the Spurs are going to be a future just battle and a war that I cannot wait for, and I'm super excited about it. Let me know what you guys think the OKC Thunder should do in this offseason. Let me know if you think that they need to do anything at all. Thank you guys for watching this video. I appreciate it, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.